Hi everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com, and today is Wednesday, October 28th, 2020 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm broadcasting to you live here on YouTube. Welcome everyone. I did catch a few comments rolling in. I loved how Bonnie said I'm on time because I was thinking I'm not. So I'm so sorry everyone. I was pushing the wrong button. I was pushing this button to go live and it was just recording in my own studio. So it was doing nothing. It wasn't coming to you. And I'm sitting there for 2 minutes going, what's going on? Anyways, I'm here, you're here, and we're gonna do another fun card today. And this is a fun fold. Surprise, surprise. I love fun folds. This one was inspired by an idea that I saw shared in an exclusive Facebook group for demonstrators. And it was shared by a demonstrator named Teresa Brown. So thank you, Teresa Brown, for sharing your idea. I don't think she had a blog. People were asking her if she had directions. And so it was, I just decided to take a screenshot of it and figure it out. So I'm excited to show this to you today. And the card, I'm calling it a bookshelf card. I think she called it some other kind of card, but it has a pocket for a bookmark, and it looks like this inset bookshelf on a wall. So I don't know. I mean, I've heard of other names for it, but I'm just going to go ahead and call it a bookshelf card because I can. So thank you for tuning in. I'm seeing so many familiar names, and it just warms my heart to see you joining me today live. So thank you. What else do I want to comment on? Trisha, are you here? Say hello if you're here. Oh, there, I saw her name pop up already. And if you want to message her directly, you can actually tag her in a post. So if you have a question, Trisha is my moderator. She is here to answer questions and help me out because I can't possibly catch up with all the comments that are rolling in. So bless your heart, Trisha. If you want to tag her so that she sees your comment a little quicker, if you put the @ sign, if you type in the @ sign and then immediately write in her name, it's going to pull up a bunch of people with similar names, and then you're gonna be able to see her. Trisha Josephs. Her first name is spelled Tricia, and so you'll be able to tag her. And yes, we love her. I love it. You guys are already chiming in saying how much you appreciate her too. She is also going to be drawing a winner at the end of this live for somebody who commented during the live. So all you have to do is just participate by chiming in, telling us where you're from. If you're a new live watcher, like this is your first ever live, or it's even your first one to my channel, comment and let us know. And thank you for those of you who are first-time watchers. I appreciate you participating with us today. Okay, what else do I want to tell you? In the description of the video, you'll find the supply list for the project that I'm going to share today. There's also an added supply list at the end because I can't just make one card. I make several. So I have 3 different other versions of this card, and I just added the extra supplies for what you would need to do those versions at the end of the other supply list. So you can refer to those supplies in the description of the video. You can also watch for my blog to go live a little bit after this is done, and that is timed for an hour and 15 minutes after this live began. So 12:15 my time, 12:15 Central Time, and the link to the blog post is right there. If you have never visited my blog, it's StampYourArtOut.com. And yes, so I hope that you come and visit me some other time on my blog, at any time actually, because I post more than just these videos there. Let me bring you to the desktop because we have some beautiful papers to share. And I think some of you may already have your hands on these. This is the Poinsettia Place Designer Series pack of paper. And that is what I'm going to feature on the cards today. That was the paper that Teresa Brown did share on her card. And I just said, you know what? This paper's on sale this month. I'm going to show that too. So I love this paper. It's beautiful. So this is one side of it. You can see lots of poinsettias and hollies, beautiful berries, pine cones. And then on the flip side, we have more of a subdued kind of pattern. We even have like a wood grain pattern on there. The colors are Old Olive, Garden Green, Soft Suede, Crumb Cake, Whisper White, Very Vanilla, I even see a little early espresso in there. Yeah, and I think there's even So Saffron in there. So pretty papers, right? I'm going to put that back here. But before we begin, let me bring you to, and I better pull it up first before I do that. I'm going to bring you to the computer so that you can see what it's like to share comments. So what I do is I try to catch up on the comments the week after the live goes live or gets broadcasted, and I read through them. I read through them and check them out. And I even copy and like do little screenshots of certain comments. Like for instance, I love the comment that Dawn put because she's got this little drawing with these fun symbols. She's got a little, it looks like a person that's flexing their arms. So that was very fun to read. Thanks, Dawn. And then Nancy brought with her a new viewer, her new grandson. And all these other people here are chiming in saying that they were live for the first time with us. So welcome to all of you. It was so fun to read through all those comments. Up here on the right, did you hear my cat? Up here on the right were some helpful comments. Thank you, Sandy. I love it because I've told people in the past, let me know when I'm not using my Stampin' Pierce mat for my photopolymer stamps. And last week I was using those Totally Clear, which are the photopolymer stamps. And it's encouraged to use that foam pad underneath. It's called a Stampin' Pierce mat. And I did not. You're right, Sandy. And then Beth said that she used dryer sheets instead of the new dryer sheets for when you're die cutting and you want to expel all of those tiny little pieces without having to poke them with, you know, a piercing tool or something. She uses the dryer sheets and then she has them for her die cutting. So I haven't tried that before because we actually don't use dryer sheets here. I buy them just for stamping. I'm sensitive to all this different stuff, so I try not to put too much in my laundry. But use that advice and see if it works for you. Carol asked a great question because the Memento Tuxedo Black ink is it's a water-based ink. It's more like our classic inks, but for some reason I don't get bleeding unless I like really go over it. So I don't experience a lot of bleeding with watercoloring with that ink pad. It's a really unique ink pad. But yeah, I suppose if you kept coloring, you would get that effect. So you could use instead the Stays-On ink. That's totally not water-based. Storing my plates. Oh, and then Carolina was suggesting for that the magnetic plate. If yours is warping, you could even store it flat. She puts it underneath the actual die cutting machine. And then Deborah gave a great tip, but I wanted to address that because I was die cutting through 2 pieces of designer paper. With die cutting through one, those little tiny circles that were in the last video that I did, those just fall right out if you're die cutting one sheet. Yeah, and all you have to do is just kind of run your hand across it or whatever. But if you're die cutting 2, they kind of get stuck in there. So I just want to make sure that she knew what I was talking about there. And then some Halloween ideas. And Carol, I am going to sit in my driveway. I'm going to be bundled up in my snow pants, and my husband bought this little portable grill thing that you can put on your driveway, and you know, it's like a fire pit in your driveway. So he's going to set that up for me, and I'm going to sit in the front yard while the kids are in the backyard all bundled up watching a movie. And yeah, we're gonna make it work. I love this idea of throwing the candy at them. Thanks for Karen for making me laugh. And then just some sweet comments at the end there. So let's go to the desktop. Thank you, everybody. Here's the stamp set that I'm going to feature. It's called Best Year, and if you look at it, it is really awesome. There are some inside-outside kind of sentiments. We're going to use 2 of them. We're going to use the birthday ones here. And then there's some that just stand alone, like the Christmas one. To the world, you are my dad. To me, you are the world. I love that. That's a really cool sentiment. So and I love the fonts. The fonts are beautiful. So we're going to be using that stamp set along with the Poinsettia Place paper. And we need to get to cutting because these cuts are intense. And I think I'm going to do the cutting before I share the supplies. Normally I share the supplies with you first, but I think I need to actually walk you through a few things so that when you look at the supplies, you aren't going, huh? Because you have to pay attention. They're actually hard to write out for my blog post and for this measurement sheet that you're going to see in a minute. Okay, so we've got our trimmer. This is our wonderful Stampin' Trimmer, and it's got extendable arms, so I'm going to bring that arm out here. And we're using 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This is our Early Espresso cardstock. So I'm going to cut it in half in this direction at the 5.5 inch mark. For those of you that are working with the A4 size cardstock rather than the letter cardstock, so this is letter size cardstock, but those of you in the other parts of the world, I do have metric measurements, but I will tell you, that was hard to convert. But I hope that you appreciate them because it was different. It was different. Okay, so now we're going to take one of those halves, and we're going to keep it in this direction. So we're going to keep it going tall here, and we're going to bring it to the 1 inch mark. Okay, and I'm using the 1 inch mark on this side of my trimmer. Can you see it right there? And we're going to bring this edge right up to it, and then we're going to slice, and we're going to follow. Let me show you here. We're going to follow these inch marks on the side here. Zoom in just a little bit more here. So we're going to start at the 1 and go down to the 5.25 inch mark. And rather than giving you dimensions on the other side, we're just going to flip our cardstock and do the same thing to the other side. It may bug some of you because there's going to be, you can kind of tell which direction the cut went initially, but when you put the card together, you don't even notice. So I'm going to bring my blade up to the 1 inch mark, and I'm going to slide it down to the 5.25 inch mark. And it's hard to see when it's just against the dark cardstock here, so that's why I put the white paper under there. Okay, so now we've got that cut going right down here. And again, to keep the measurements easy to understand, we'll do the same thing here. So we'll start at that 1 inch mark, and we'll go down to the 5.25 inch mark. So there's our cuts, and you can see this one does definitely look like it was cut on the other side. It's got a little bit more of a ridge to it, but it's going to be hidden when you're done. Okay, we're going to rotate it this way so that our cuts are off to the right hand side here, and we're going to bring it to the 1 inch mark, and from this point on we can move our cutting blade out of the way, and we're just going to use the scoring blade, and we're going to go from this cut line to this cut line and score it at 1 inch. So you've almost made like this 1 inch border on 3 sides. 2 of them are cut and 1 of them is scored. We're going to move it to the 2 inch mark, but at this point let's go this way on our trimmer because we're going to keep on moving over and over. So we did 1 inch, now we're going to do 2 inches, and we're going to do another score line from cut to cut. So from here to here, here to here. Now we'll bring it to the halfway point. The halfway point when you're doing a card normally with this size is 4.25 inches. And we're going to bring it to the 4.25 inch mark, but we're only going to score above and below that section now. So we'll score, and then we'll bring it up here and we'll score. So you can see the score lines are just above and below. We'll bring it 1 more inch over, which is 5.25 inches, and we will score from here to here. So the cut mark to the cut mark. Okay, so in between and outside. And then the last measurement is going to seem odd, but we're going to bring it to the 6 3/8 inch mark. And the reason why we're doing that is because we're dividing this and this in half. Okay, and that will give us the 6 3/8 inch mark, and we're going to score it all the way. All right, another piece that we will need from our Early Espresso is a piece that is 1.5 by 5. So I've got my 1.5 by 5 inch piece here. That's going to be for a bookmark. And then we need a 1 inch piece. You can see when I do like 1.25 or less, I tend to use this side of my trimmer. It's just easier to hang onto your cardstock. So now we've got a 1-inch piece. The rest of this is also scrap. And we're going to turn this and cut it at 1 inch. So I've got a 1-inch piece, 1 inch by 3, sorry. And then I've got the bookmark. Now this 1 inch by 3 piece, we're going to put 2 score lines on the outside, just a 1/2 inch in. So it's going parallel to the short end. So in the middle, between those 2 score lines, we have a section that is 2 inches wide. Let's move on to the white piece. The white piece of cardstock, we don't need too much from. We need a piece that is 3 by 3 1/4. So I'll just trim it in this direction at the 3-inch mark and 3 1/4. I'm doing all the cuts in front of you guys today. And then we need a scrap. So I'm just going to put that up off to the side of my table. So this is going to go on the back of the card because we need a place to sign our card. Now we'll bring in the designer paper. And for the designer paper, we want 2 patterns, at least 2 patterns. I'm going to use this sheet and I'm going to use the flip side for the other design. So the first size that you need, it starts out being kind of like a card layer. It's going to be 4 by 5 1/4 inches. This piece is already cut to 4 inches wide. I'm going to cut it at 5 1/4. And for this piece, we're going to form a C. So this is going to be our first layer on the outside front of the card. And for that C shape, I'm going to cut so that I have a 3/4 inch section on 3 of those sides. So this is my top. And if you do have a directional paper, you're going to need to pay attention to that. So we're going to cut in from this side and go to the 3/4 inch mark, which if I put the white paper under here again, you can see that's the 3/4 inch mark right there. Okay, so I'm just going up to that little spot. Then I'm going to rotate it. Now my paper is upside down. Again, if I had a pattern, this would be considered upside down. I'm going to go from that cut that I just did up to the 3/4 inch mark again. And then we'll turn it this way and we'll do our last cut, which starts where we ended and goes off the paper. So we have a piece that looks like the letter C. All right. Then we need a designer series paper piece that is, sorry, just looking at my cheat sheet here, 3 by 3 1/4 inches. And when you're looking at, in case there is a direction to it, it's going to be tall. It's not going to be, so if you had a direction, this is the way you'd want it to sit, okay? We're going to flip it over. This is going to be our piece that we're going to cut from. And you can see there's no direction to it. We don't have an up and a down. So to make use of that, I already know that this is 3 inches, no, 3 1/4 inches. So if I cut it to 3 inches here, I've rotated it, but again, no pattern, and now it still looks like it's going in the right direction. And that's going to go on the opposite side of where the white piece is going. So this will be on the front, the white will be on the back. This scrap we don't need. The other pieces we need are 1 7/8, okay? And this piece can vary. This piece can vary in length because you're forming a layer for the pocket, the bookmark part of your card where the pocket's going to be. But this can be adjusted to a different length depending on how much designer paper you have left. We're first going to cut it to 1 7/8 inches. And we want it to have a little bit of a curve at the end so that it will catch the bookmark from going through. Okay, so we're forming a pocket. But again, if you have less paper and your pocket is going to be narrower, that's fine, as long as you have a little bit to form a pocket. So we're going to score at 5 1/4 inches. And my piece is actually 6 3/4 inches long. But again, it could be 6 inches long and you'd still have enough, okay? As long as you have something to fold up. You can always put another designer series piece of paper over it if it's not long enough. But this is going to be long enough to catch on to our 1 inch wide band here that's going to hold it. We're going to form it like this, okay? If I wanted to, I could take another designer. Let's say I didn't want to have this be my opposite designer paper, but it's on the back side. So then I would just cut another piece that would be 1.5 by 1 7/8. And I wrote that in there. I think I did. Yes, I did. Possibly an additional piece. So that's what you'll see when you see those measurements. Possibly an additional piece that you'll just put over this, and that will cover up that design and give you the design that you want. And then the last piece that we're going to cut is for our bookmark layer, and that is going to be 1.25 by 4 3/4. So that's going to fit inside our bookmark. In fact, I think I like this side better. Not that it matters, but there we go. All right, that was a lot of cutting. Now I'm going to bring you to the desktop so you can see the measurements and the supplies. So now when you look at those measurements, are you like, yeah, that makes sense, Rachel, why you did that. Ooh, black and white. So the early espresso cardstock, the whisper white, the poinsettia place paper, 2 patterns. And now we have to also have some ribbon in there too, so I'll cut those soon. But off to the left, you can see all the other supplies. Well, I do include the measured supplies as well. There's some tools in there. There's some fun embellishments like the ribbon that I just talked about and the rhinestones. And again, these extra things down here are for the 3 other cards in case you wanted to make any one of those other versions instead or in addition, okay? All right, let's go back to the desktop. And I'm going to close this out really quick because it's confusing me. Oh my goodness, there we go. Sorry, you guys don't see what I'm doing. Yay, you're all still here. I'm looking at off to the comments again. All right, awesome. Okay, so thank you. Thank you. I just saw Joella's comment. I appreciate that. So, oh, and I've already got my stamps set up. Sorry. I put them on D-size blocks. And you're going to be so proud of me. Look at, I have labels on my stamps. You don't have to put labels on them, but it does help to know where you're going to be stamping. So let's go ahead and stamp our pieces. This is our Early Espresso ink pad. It coordinates with our cardstock. To open it, you just lift this end like that. You can lift it all the way and you slide it into the base. So we'll just ink up our stamp here by tapping lightly. It's a very firm type of ink pad. You don't have to pounce or pound, I should say. Okay, and then we stamp it down. We move that out of the way. We're going to stamp the Whisper White paper now. And again, we want it to be vertical, so up and down this way here. And we're going to stamp that somewhat towards the top so we still have a place to sign our card. So this would be a good card for anybody who has a birthday in, around Christmas or in the winter, when you've got all those pine cones on the ground everywhere. Okay, so we'll move that. Oh, you guys, this card is so much fun. So let's go ahead and start taping some things down here. We're going to grab our card base, and I'm going to use our Seal Plus adhesive. And we'll flip this over and we'll just start adding some adhesive to the bottom here. This is really strong adhesive. And we're just running it along the back. I'm doing it all the way because this is such a narrow piece that I didn't want part of it to not stick. So this is going to go in this section of the card where you can see kind of the, you can kind of see where that outline C shape is. In fact, let's do this. Let's take and bend the card at this point. So we're going to bend this way for the first score line. We're going to bend the opposite way for the second score line. We're going to bend these two going in the same direction as this one. So these two are going to be kind of like a little step like that. Then this one is going to go back. Okay, so there's our bookshelf. There's the shelf that's built into the wall. And then this is going to go this way. Now if we crease those a little bit more using our bone folder, let's start with this one. This is where the bookmark and the pocket are going to go. There we go. Now we can grab that bone folder and really get it in there. This is where the back side of the card is, obviously, so we might as well just stick this one down now since we're here. That will go on the back side in this spot. And I've got it so I've got like 1/8 of an inch all the way around, a little bit of a border. I need to lie it flat though when I do it. What am I doing trying to stick it on there when it's not flat? All right, so there's the back side, the front side. And this we have to first assemble before we stick it down. We can put our bookmark layer down next. So this will go here onto our small, narrow early espresso piece. And that we're going to turn into a bookmark soon, so we might as well pull all those pieces out for that. This is going to go with this. This piece here is going to go in here. Oh, and before we do that, we need ribbon on it. Okay, now we're ready to start assembling some things with ribbon. So our ribbon measurements, let me pull that up again. Our measurements for our ribbon, grab my ruler that I got from a long time ago. I know you guys have seen this before and you ask me, you say, where did you get that ruler? It was a demonstrator supply item years ago, so I'm so sorry. Okay, yeah, you can't get your hands on it anymore unless you search eBay, right? So there's our 4.5, our 7-inch, our 11-inch, and our 10-inch. And they don't have to be exact. I mean, some of you have the ability to tie bows really well, and some of you need a lot more ribbon, you know, so make it work for you. That was our 10-inch piece. No, that was our 11. This is our 10-inch. So 10-inch is going to go with our bookmark. And the smallest one is going to wrap around this piece here. Again, remember it's going to go vertical. And I think, oh, I almost started adding. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of adhesive here and here. And that's what the ribbon is going to hang on to. So we're just going to position it like this and wrap one end this way and one end this way. Okay? Now we can add it to our card base. And I like to go over the ribbon just a little bit too. I just feel like it holds it down better. So that will go in here. And this piece needs to get punched out. And I've chosen the story label punch. It's kind of a fun shape, isn't it? So it looks like that. And we'll just line it up upside down. The thing that you want to look for when you are punching is for the words that are definitely, you know, flat, have a line to them. You want to make sure that those are going to be going parallel to the line that would go straight through the middle of your punch. And then you just want to, you know, make sure it's high enough and to the right, to the left, you know what I mean? Takes some maneuvering, but I think we got it. Okay, that piece is going to go up on dimensionals. This will be a card that you give to somebody special because it does take some time. I've put dimensionals on the top and bottom of the piece because it's going to go across where the ribbon is. I also didn't go beyond the middle section. I didn't go beyond these 2 points here or onto those 2 points because one of those points is going to sit off the edge. So this is ready to add. We'll take the release paper off the back and we'll add that to our designer paper right here. Then we have 2 other ribbons. We have one that's really long and that's going to wrap around the bottom of our bookmark pocket. And then we have one that's semi-short. And this one here I set aside for you to do a bow, okay? If you are bow challenged, get a bow maker. No. But you can do it by just taking 2 what I call rabbit ears. There's no kinks in the ribbon, okay? You just pretend like they are separate pieces of ribbon. They're not loops, they're just separate pieces of ribbon that you're going to put over, one over the other, and then you tuck that top one right through the hole and you pull it and you get a fun little bow. It's pretty quick and easy that way. Okay? If you have fingers that aren't as flexible, you know, you might want to start with a larger piece of ribbon, or I don't know, do it the way you normally do it if you have a method already, right? Or there are those bow makers. They're kind of like two dowels, wooden dowels sticking up, and they're pretty inexpensive. I know a lot of you use those. Okay, so there's our bow. I just trimmed off the ends. We're gonna grab a glue dot and we're gonna add 1 or 2 if you feel like you need more to the back, and that will just get attached to that spot right there. Okay, let's work on the bookmark area now. So the bookmark, we're gonna use tear and tape adhesive for. So we're gonna grab the end of this and stick this right against, and here I'll do this so you can see it better, right against the upper edge of that pocket portion. And then we want to have a tiny piece here and a tiny piece here. And that's why I had the take your pick tool on here. Then we can just run that under there like that and grab it. And this is going to go on here, but you know, here's the thing. When you put it on here, you want it about 1 inch from the bottom, so that you're seeing that designer paper a little bit. It is a little bit wider. This is 1 7/8 inches. This is 2 inches from score to score. So you've got some wiggle room. Back to here, I gotta make sure. There we go. Okay, so now it's centered. I can flip it over and peel off the release paper on the back of that and on the back of this. And then those get folded over like that. Then we use our long ribbon, so we have a longer one, that's the 11-inch one, and that gets wrapped around from front to back. Oops. Okay. Like this. And you can adjust it afterwards if you don't put any adhesive on it. So we're just going to tie it in a knot, or overhand I should say. It's not really a knot yet. Okay, we've got that. Now what I do is I've got this wonderful, is that a ring finger? I'm going to put my ring finger down. I'm going to form a little loop down here. I'm going to turn this one, and I have no kinks in my loop. I'm going to take this top one, I'm going to bring it to the left, no kinks in it, just bringing it to the left, and then I'm going to poke this end through that hole that is right here. And when I go slow, I tend to mess up, so you guys, I might mess up. You know what, I'm going to do that again. I'm not going to go slow this time. All right, so I've got my ribbon cinched up, got my ring finger holding it down, got my loop with no kinks, go to the left, over to the right, form a little loop here, bring it through, and pull, and please work. You're on camera, Rachel, it's not gonna work. Maybe I didn't cut enough ribbon. Okay, you might wanna have more than 11 inches, but it did work, but now I have to adjust it. So I'm just gonna pull on the ends here and adjust it, and then I'm going to shift it over to the right. And the reason why I'm shifting it over to the right is because when we push this card closed to put it in an envelope, that's where you're going to have some open space, is off to the right. Okay? Yeah, maybe 12 inches would be better. I'll edit that, okay? And then you can take a glue dot at this point if you feel like you need to. And you just insert it underneath where your ribbon is sitting, and then you can trim the ends. All right, there's our pocket. One more step with the adhesive, and that is going to be a long strip of this here and a long strip of this here. So this is our tear and tape. It's one of our strongest adhesives. It's awesome. 3 cheers for tear and tape. If it didn't take so long to peel off and then pull off the release paper, I'd use this stuff all the time. Oh my goodness, Rachel. There we go. And then we just have to form the bookmark. This is such a cool card. Okay, so there's our pocket, and that gets placed here in this area, like that. And then our bookmark, we're going to be using this triple, what's it called? Detailed trio. I always want to call it triple something, but it's a trio punch. Detailed trio. It's great for doing a couple corners, and it also makes like a little ribbon slot. So you're going to look at your bookmark, you're going to decide what's up and what's down, and that's going to get pressed in flat against the back here. There's a back area, and you'll see how it's all lined up nice and in the middle there. And you'll just press down, and you've got your little hole in the top. Then you'll take your ribbon, and we've got it straight. We're going to bring the two ends over each other like this. In fact, it's going to be easier if they both are at a point. I think I need a new ribbon scissors. I think I've used it with paper too much and it's getting dull. Naughty Rachel. Okay, so I've got my 2 points. We're going to come from the back into that hole. You can see how the loop is still staying like that, right? As I pull this, I'm going to insert these 2 ends up through that loop. And then I just cinch it, and there is my fun little attachment at the top of my bookmark. And again, I would just trim these ends maybe a little bit more so that they look nicer, because they just went through that ribbon hole. Okay, and then when you're sending the card, you do need to put extra postage in there, especially if in the US, because we've got a lot of bumps, but it is under 2 ounces, so you could use just a 2-ounce stamp, or you could put it in a padded envelope. This part here, you would just fold in, okay? But yeah, for the reader, the person who likes to read, you've got the perfect card for them now. I've got a couple other versions. So here's the front and here's the back. I'll zoom out a bit here. Okay, so there's the front and back. We'll clean off our table. Okay, so now you can see what that looks like. Kind of boring on the back, right? You could decorate it up if you want to. Let me show you some other ones. So this one I did using real red cardstock, and of course the same designer paper. I've got some red rhinestones in there instead of the regular rhinestones. Oh, I didn't even add rhinestones to this yet. Here, we'll just go like this, watch. Now I've got rhinestones. So I added rhinestones to this spot at the top and a few in there. And that's where the glitz and glimmer goes. Sorry, we'll move that one out of the way. Now we have red rhinestones on this one, kind of in the same spots, except I wanted to accent the berries on the bookmark. So I put a few more on that bookmark. The back side of this, again, the Christmas sentiment in the stamp set does not really have a matching inside sentiment, so I left it blank. You could put a family photo back there, or you could just, sign your names. You could even sign your names back here if you wanted to. You could put a family photo inside here and totally get rid of the embellishment areas, and it could be a fun card for, you wouldn't even need a bookmark here. That's where you could sign the card. I just love the fold. Don't you guys love the fold? But yeah, if you're making it a bookmark, then you got to call it a bookshelf card. Okay. And then here's this one. This one's using soft suede as the cardstock, the base cardstock. Oh, I forgot to mention real red, and then this color here is the soft seafoam green. So it's a nice light green. And the ribbon is the sheer red ribbon. On here I've got, instead of rhinestones, I've got the gold gilded gems. And then this ribbon is from a pair of ribbons. You get them together. They're called All the Trimmings, and there's like a poppy parade color, a red color, and then there's this old olive color, and it's so pretty. And do you see what I did here? I took and I decided, because this ribbon was so narrow, I wanted to have an extra embellishment there. So I cut out one of the flowers. I just fussy cut it. The wonderful thing about, and here's the back side of that. This is very vanilla cardstock. The wonderful thing about this paper is it belongs to a suite of products that has a coordinating stamp set, some dies. It has a bunch of things in it. It's very pretty suite of products. All I'm using is the designer paper, and the dies. The dies will cut out a few images from the designer paper. So on this one, instead of fussy cutting that poinsettia back there, I cut it with the dies and just stuck it back there. I still added the other embellishments like the ribbon, but I went away with, I didn't put any bling on it besides just the trim. So this is our gold metallic edge ribbon. It has a vanilla tone to it, and this is vanilla cardstock. This cardstock is our garden green. The ink, by the way, is also garden green. I use the garden green ink on that one and on this card. So let's put them all out so you can see them all, right? In order of how I explained them. Can you see them all? Hopefully. Aren't they fun? Totally for the reader. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way because we do not need that. But what we need is this pulled up. It's my announcement of winners from last time. So we had 2 weeks for people to respond since my last live aired on YouTube. And if you were a commenter after the live, you got in the after live prize drawing. I picked 2 winners from that, and I've got 2 names pulled up here. Out of 189 people that commented, yes, you lucky people. Now, what did they win? What did they get from last time? Let me pull those out so you can see. That was our pick 2 prize choice. So we had different things that our winner could pick from last week. I'll zoom in so you can see here. We've got the 2020 through 22 enamel dots. We've got the copper stars. We've got some metallic brads. These are retired. This is also retired. This is a puff paint. It's in white. And then the rest of these are all current. This here is our small blossom punch. And this is our Snowflake Splendor iridescent ribbon. So the winners get to pick 2 from this pile. So when I show you the names, whoever contacts me first gets first choice. It's just the way I got to do it. I will try to reach out to both of you through your comments, but sometimes that's difficult because you don't always see those notifications. So hopefully you're watching live and you will contact me. My email is going to be at the top of that too, so you can see it. So let me set that up for you so you can see. And I think Trisha, what she's doing right now is she is picking a winner from our other commenters. So let's go first to the computer and see who won from last week. 2 weeks ago. Congratulations to Sandra Buchanan and Susan Crowell. You are the people that get to pick from the pick 2 prizes. The winner for today and for the next 2 prizes that we draw next week, you get to pick a tutorial from my blog. So I am going to show you where that is right now. Actually, hang on. I have to set this up, otherwise you're going to see something else that you don't want to see on my blog, on my computer. Okay, there we go. I'm ready. This is my blog, stampyourartout.com. You can go there for what was I referring? Oh, the tutorials. For the tutorials. Okay, so let's go to one of these little drop-down menus, and you can see here, classes, tutorials for sale. So you get to pick from one of my tutorials. And yes, you can pick from the highest price one that we have here in the All-Star section if you'd like. So if you love the Peony Garden, maybe you want the Peony Garden tutorial, that sort of thing. If you are a subscriber to my tutorials, which you can be, maybe you want to go and keep scrolling because there's a ton. There's like lots of them from way back. So feel free to pick whatever one you want. And when my blog post goes live today, it will be in the blogs section of my website. So you can either find the blog here, you can find it by clicking here, or when you're in the description of this video, there's going to be a link to it. So let's peek over to see what Trisha may have typed in. Sorry, it's taken me a while. Yes, there we go. Today's live prize winner. I love, Trisha, I love how you put the drums in there because it really stands out. And I appreciate that you always tag me in it because otherwise I miss it. Kelly Jackman, you are the winner of today's prize. Congratulations to you. And you know what? She had the birthday 2 weeks ago. And so happy birthday, belated birthday present to you, dear. She's actually my cousin. So yay for Kelly. Congratulations. And then congratulations to our other winners as well. I want to remind you that I go live pretty much every Wednesday. Last week I took off. I was trying to heal a little bit more on that broken toe that I broke in August. I am feeling better and better every day. I think right now I just need to do like toe therapy, physical therapy for my toe. So I'm trying to stretch it and I'm trying to, move in different directions and deal with the aggravating it's just an uncomfortable feeling. If any of you have ever broken your toe by stubbing it on the leg of your couch, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, it's healing. So thank you for your well wishes. And I think that's it. November 4th is next week. We're already going to be into November. Happy Halloween to all of you. For those of you that celebrate, enjoy this weekend. Amazing that it's on a Saturday. It's too bad it's COVID. Because I'm sure there would have been a ton of parties. There might still be, but try to keep it safe out there, everyone. Enjoy your holiday weekend. We'll see you on November 4th at 11 a.m. Same place. You'll be able to find the link either by visiting here or you can visit my Facebook page. My Facebook page has an events section, and when you go there, I try to update and put a link for the actual live video in there 1 to 2 days beforehand in that actual event. So you can peek at that event a couple days before, grab the link, and maybe just have your tab open and waiting if you want. Otherwise, if you visit my channel on YouTube, the live link should be waiting also. I don't think you get notifications via email when I go live. I think you just have to be open on YouTube in order to know that we're there. And again, it's always same time, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central Time. I don't think there was, the paper sale. Make sure you take advantage of it. The Poinsettia Place designer paper that I shared with you today, that is 15% off. And there's a few other packs of paper that are 15% off. Visit my blog and click on shop. You can find the store there that way, and you can see the specials on the designer paper. I'll show you that really quick just because I know some of us just need a walkthrough. So let me go to the computer. All right, we don't need to be on the blog area at all, but if you click on shop and then you go to my online store, or you click on shop online, either way will get you to the store, and you're just going to go up to, you could even click on sales and specials, and there it is, designer paper sale. So you'll scroll through there and you'll see if there's anything that's of interest to you. You have until the end of this month to take advantage of it. So don't miss out on that. And we'll see you all next week. I hope you all stay healthy and safe this weekend. All right? Next week, well, I think that's it. I think that's all I needed to share. So now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.